Good morning, everyone. Hey, North Carolina plate. Today we're going to talk about how I kind of got into motorcycling, why I stopped for a little bit, that sort of thing. Alright, so back when I was 15, 16 years old, 10 plus years ago now, because I'm old, my brother and I were both really wanting to get motorcycles. We had ridden dirt bikes our entire childhood. We were always comfortable on two wheels, and I hadn't owned a dirt bike in a while as a kid. So I'm like, man, I'd love to get a motorcycle, be able to ride on the road. So I was looking at a bunch of different stuff, and got into like the sport bike and the naked sport bike categories and stuff. My dad and my mom, I think, probably more than my dad, but my mom was like, oh my god, the classic, right? I don't want my son on a sport bike, blah, blah, which is actually probably reasonable. I don't mean to demean that. But anyway, so my dad was like, listen, he's like, your mother and I, if you buy a Harley or, kind of equivalent bike, just kind of some kind of cruiser, we'll give you $1,000 for it. And so we were like, okay, I mean, that's pretty good, right? I was like, cool. So we were looking around, and I wanted a cruiser that was still a little bit sporty, that could handle corners. Well, my dad, and I'll put pictures in this video, had two FXRs and an FXDX. So he had a shovelhead FXR 82 and like an 89 Evo FXR. Then he had an 04 Dyna FX DX. Which, if you look at all three of those bikes, see the pictures attached here or inserted here, they're my bike, basically. For all intents and purposes, right? Jacked up suspension, dual front rotors, a little steeper steering angles, sportier Harleys, right? It's just so funny that, I guess I kind of knew, but I didn't really even know what an FXR was, or the fact that he had one. And then the FXDX, I kind of forgot existed when I was looking for my bike way back when. So I wasn't even actively thinking about that, and yet it's where I wound up. So you wonder sometimes, like, genetically, if these are the things that, if these are the things that happen, and it's just like you were literally genetically predisposed to having a certain interest set. It's got to be partially true, I would think. But yeah, long story short, I wound up with the bike that I wound up with, and a love for the style of motorcycle, which I just find very interesting, considering what he primarily bought and rode throughout his riding career. It's so bumpy road. It's still a lot of fun on. So anywho, long story short on that, I wound up with the Sportster Roadster. I don't think I realized at the time really what this bike was going to be capable of, and how much I'd wind up enjoying it, and the fact that I'd wind up keeping it for 10 plus years now. I had no way of knowing that, but I did know I thought it was very cool when I bought it, so I made a good decision, obviously. But so that I didn't know. And then from that day on, when I got my license when I was 16, I did have this bike, and I rode. The first time I rode, I'd ridden a lot of dirt bikes and stuff, but there was something about the smoothness of the road and just the way a motorcycle handles at speed. It absolutely captured my heart, and I was obsessed. Like, and I mean, when I say obsessed, I mean like unhealthily obsessed. While I was still in high school, I put like 10,000 miles a year on this bike. Most of the mileage, honestly, on this bike is from the first few years I owned it. So I was just racking up the miles and learning things, and on the Harley forums, and just all that sort of thing. And then as time went on, I went to college, and my commute to college was pretty good to facilitate me commuting on the bike. So I took the bike to college, but I was very busy in college, so I didn't really take it on as many weekend rides. I just put a good amount of miles on it in the spring and fall commuting, and then summertime I'd ride to my job and whatever sometimes too. So I used it quite a bit. Well, you fast forward to when I had my full-time job, first full-time job. It was a pretty nasty commute on the highway, on the interstate, middle of rush hour. It was pretty busy. I had to do that. That tractor trailer there was a perfect opportunity to make some freedom noises. So sorry about that. But anyway, I had the perfect commute, or a terrible commute, I mean, on the highway at my first job. And I rode the bike a few times, but it's not that I couldn't do it. It's not that I felt uncomfortable or unsafe. It's just that this bike, especially without this little fairing, it just beats you to death on the highway with wind. I mean, any cruiser does. But I mean, you would have to go 80, 85 to keep up with traffic. And it wasn't a comfortable bike for me to go that fast on. I get to work and I was like windswept. So call me a wimp. You're absolutely justified in that. But that was the reasoning. So I kind of stopped riding the bike to work. Well, simultaneously, I wasn't riding the bike on the weekends really much either. So then it just got to a point where it started to sit. But I was still using it a little bit. Then, in 2017, I bought my car. And that really screwed up the equation because, and I love having the car, but it was a lot of the same fun I was having on the motorcycle, but just more convenient. You just hopped in it, turn a key, and go, right? No gear, not have to worry about rain, all that kind of stuff. So, it really spoiled me. And I just bought it, I was paying, a loan on it, and I wanted to use it. So the bike sat quite a bit. And I still took it out, I still rode, but I only put 1,000, 1,500 miles a year on. Kind of that classic, just like weekend warrior type stuff. Definitely didn't get the use it should have, which, is what it is. So, a couple of years after that, 3 years, 4 years after that maybe, I shouldn't be in left-hand lane here. I realized somebody wanted to go faster. But I injured my back. That was last year. So I couldn't ride last year really at all. So that kind of sucked because I was all gung-ho to get back into it. So then this year, between not being able to ride last year and all the modifications I did, I was dead set on riding the pants off this thing. And so far so good. I've been riding to work any day that it's sunny out. I'll take the car if the weather's questionable or if I'm feeling real lazy, and it works out pretty good. Having 3 vehicles, the car, the truck, and the bike, it's hard to split up your time to enjoy them all, but it's definitely doable. Any more than that, I think it'd be almost impossible. Dang, the traffic just got heavy. There we go. Gotta get over. It's so hard to get over on this road. I don't know why. It happens. It's just such a short exit ramp, and it's an inner outer. But we're all good. Oh, we can hit this turn. That's me paying the price for being stupid. Don't merge at too high of a speed because people don't expect it. Ride smart, guys. I don't claim to be the perfect rider. I do dumb shit like that all the time that I shouldn't do. That was an FXR. I'm pretty sure I just saw an FXR. Still trying to figure out how I can find somebody who will let me ride their FXR and ride it the way that I want to so that I can actually enjoy it. Not as hard as I ride this bike, but enough to really get a good feel for it. Because I've always wanted to ride one. Preferably one that's been tastefully modified with suspension work. That's just kind of a summary of what happened, and here I am now, alive and kicking. I had a goal last year of restarting the YouTube channel. Well, my health kind of said F you to that. So, you know, here we are this year doing it. It happens in life, you know. You can't always do things in the order and the way that you want. So, not a big deal, man. I mean, we healed up, we worked hard, we healed up, and we're making dreams come true here. So, posting videos twice a week. Just whatever comes to my mind. I have no rules with it. I want the content to be reasonably good quality, and I just want to practice though and get better, and use the posting to get better. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so it's easy for me to be like, oh, that shot sucks, I can't upload this whole video. And it's like, well, yeah, long term maybe that's good, but I need to just get some stuff out there again, get a feel for it again, and that's how you really learn. So the quality will improve. I gotta get some little better camera equipment for filming off-bike stuff and really the on-bike stuff. This camera's pretty old. The image quality's not that of a new one, but we'll figure all that stuff out as time goes on. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. God bless America, and I'll see you in the next one.